Welcome to a new SkyRoster training video. After completing all steps in the template design wizard, by configuring the roster type, resources, period and constraints, we're now ready to generate a roster solution. Before jumping into it, let's take a closer look at the Rostering Workbench, which is the place where planners will spend most of their time. The workbench provides three distinct views: the resource view, the position view, and the summary view. In the default one, the resource view, we have a broad picture on the roster solution configuration. On the left side, the tool displays the staff resources for which the roster is generated. These resources can be individual employees or teams. The roster period is displayed on the upper side of the page, focusing on a single month from the configured period. This area in the center of the page will be filled in with the allocated shifts for every employee or team, for every day in the selected period. Below it, we can see the manpower allocation for every qualification and shift, as they were configured in the manpower definition assigned for this draft roster. When planners prepare a new roster, they are able to also assign shifts manually to employees and then ask the roster engine to fill in the rest. Let's assume we need this employee to start working on the morning shift after he returns from his annual leave. So, we'll assign an M shift on the next day and we will mark these assignments as locked. Because we're using a shift pattern for this draft roster, when we assign a shift on a certain day, the engine will fill in the adjacent cells with the entire shift pattern. As you can remember, the locked assignments will not be changed by the roster engine when generating the solution, if the locked assignments hard rule is enabled. Okay, now let's generate a solution. To do this, we need to click the Solve Solution button under the Roster Engine submenu item in the upper right corner. The solving process can take from a few seconds to minutes or hours, for the most difficult configurations, and this depends on many factors such as the number of employees, the period, the configured manpower and the hardware on which this process is executed. As a side note, the rostering process is a very CPU-intensive operation, so make sure you deploy it on capable hardware. During this process, the application will display the shift allocation progress and the manpower coverage in the background. We are also able to see the improvements of hard, medium and soft scores, with each new executed step. The engine will stop searching for solutions if it cannot find a better one in at most 10 seconds from the previously computed one. We can wait for the roster engine to finish, or we can also stop the process manually by clicking the Terminate Now button. In this situation, the process will finish the current step, then stop the execution. In the generated roster, we can see how the engine has allocated shifts around the manually assigned ones, which have been locked. And, due to the fact that we have generated an individual roster with shift pattern, the shifts are maintaining this pattern for all employees. The Manpower section color-codes each position by the number of occupancy level from the minimum required. The position view displays a detailed manpower overview with a grand total for each day. In the summary view we can see how many hours each employee works on each shift, together with a total number of hours worked on this draft roster. In order to save our progress so far, we need to save this template by giving it a name and clicking the Save button from the right side toolbar. Now, our draft roster is available in the templates list and can be opened and customized further, until planners reach an acceptable version, which can be published as the official roster. Alright, this is all for today. Take care and see you soon.